everyone, my name is Taryn and thank you so much for stopping by my channel today, Birdhouse Blooms. Today I just want to show you an update about my seedlings that I have growing. I know this is not an ideal situation because the closing of our house has been delayed again. So all of these seedlings I started back in like December when the original proposed date to close on our house was in February. That would have been fine timing to have all these seedlings, but now we're looking at late April even, maybe even May. Hoping to get news on that by the end of this week, but we're just running into a bunch of delays. So unfortunately, my seedlings are like almost ready to be planted. I don't know if they're going to survive another 2 months in their seed trays. I don't have space to plant them all up. So I'm really gonna do the best I can, but they're looking so good. So I still wanted to show them to you. All right, this tray right here looks so good. This has Status, feverfew, and yarrow in it. And these are all cool season flowers. So these could easily go out into the garden right now if I had one to plant into, but I don't. So, but look how nice. All right, this also has, this side is yarrow and this side is feverfew. This is just a salad container that we had. These seeds were extremely old and I was having trouble getting them to germinate in my cell trays. And I just got really frustrated and I was like, I'm just putting all the seeds in here and seeing what germinates. And they all germinated. So my plan with this would be to just kind of like tease apart little chunks of these and like spread them out into the garden. Scully is barking as usual. Scully in an apartment is very challenging. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of roots happening. There's some yellowing happening because obviously this is way too many plants to have in this small of a container. I'm giving them fish emulsion to try to get them along. But again, these needed to go out into the garden about 2 weeks ago. And so they're going to have to live in here for a while. I hope they make it. This is a tray of Lisianthus. I've got about 15 cells in here that did not survive, but these are looking so good. I started maybe 2 to 3 times as many as this, and this is what I have left. I will share my garden plan with you guys eventually, but this is not enough Lisianthus for me to fill the space that I have planned for it. I don't really have enough space to order more seeds and get these going this year. They like to be cold, and if I started new seeds now, it would just be way too warm. They wouldn't flower for me. I'm in zone 8A now, I guess, in North Carolina. So I will plant these out. I have some beds that won't be able to get the Lisianthus that I planned on because this is all I have. I will just put other annuals in there, maybe some floret zinnias or something for this year. That's a good project for me to have for next year in December when I'm really itching to start seeds again. I'll need a lot of Lisianthus. So this is a good start. I don't know what the varieties are. I always have good intentions and I start out with them labeled and everything, and then I I pot up and combine the trays and I just no longer keep track of what is what. So it'll be a surprise to see which colors these are. I do know which ones I tried to germinate and grow, but I don't know which ones panned out to become little plants that will be able to go into the garden. All right. Oh, there's water in this tray. I just heard it slosh around. We didn't spill though, that's good. Okay, so this tray has snapdragons. It's kind of a mixture. There's snapdragons. This is feverfew. And there's a few, I have like maybe 5. You see them? There's some Lysianthus in here that I've potted up. Looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 or 7 more Lysianthus in here. These snapdragons, I don't know if they'll survive. I could pinch these to delay them a little bit. I typically don't pinch my snapdragons. That is not typically what a lot of growers do, but I follow the Dave Dowling method, where if you want super thick, tall, sturdy snapdragons, it's easier to achieve that if you don't pinch them. So instead of pinching my snapdragons, I prefer to succession plant them. But these ones may not survive if I don't pinch them, so I might do that anyways. And then I've seen on other videos, I think North Lawn Flower Farm does it, where she takes the parts that she pinched off and she roots those. So maybe I can get a second tray from what I pinch off to mature a little bit more slowly. And then I would be able to put those into the garden, even if these don't survive super well. And also, I've had to have my plants inside the past couple of days because we had a really bad windstorm, super gusty winds. So these got kind of beat up, but I think they're recovering okay. They've also been getting the fish emulsion food, fertilizer, I suppose you would call it. It's just the, is it Neptune's Harvest? I'll grab it. I think it's Neptune's something, fish emulsion. Here is the Neptune Harvest fish and seaweed fertilizer. I've just been putting a small little, I don't know, I've just been pouring it in and not measuring it, but I just put a tiny little bit in my watering can and then fill it up and water the seedlings with it. That's what these have been getting. So they look really good. They're ready to be planted out, and they're not going to have anywhere to go for at least a month and a half. So maybe I'll pinch these down. All right, this is a second tray of snapdragons that I have in here. If I can think of some of the varieties, I'll put those up on the screen. I had them written down at some point. It just wouldn't be me if I knew what these were. So again, they're pretty beat up from the windstorm. I left them outside for a while and then it just kept escalating. So they did get beat up. I eventually brought them inside. They're staying inside today. And here's a couple yarrow and feverfew sprinkled throughout. But this one is almost all snapdragons. Okay, this tray is more of the same. It is feverfew and yarrow, except these were the very first ones I started. And I actually was able to pot these up in these little trays, or these little pots. And so they're doing so good. Look at these. But again, same situation, same food, and they'll go back outside tomorrow to experience the nice cold weather and the natural sun. They look so good. So good. All right, this here, these are some eucalyptus seedlings and one dahlia cutting right here in the middle. This was from a tuber that I was able to save from my old property before we moved, and that is bracken. Is this one bracken rose? No, this one is Skipley Lois Jean. So I'll put a picture of Skipley Lois Jean up on the screen. So this is a dahlia. I'm so excited to have this little baby cutting, and the rest of these are eucalyptus coming along. They are in Root Riot plugs, which I really, really wanted these to do well, so I wanted to give that a try. I don't know if I'll buy them again just because they have peat in them, and I try to avoid that, but they work very well. So I do have a few things in the Root Riot plugs. So this right here, these are Buplurum seedlings. They need potted up really bad because this shallow of a tray, I thought it would be easy to germinate stuff in, and it kind of reminded me of a soil block. It dries out super quick because it's not much soil in there. So these need potted up really badly. And so I'm going to do that. They get their little seeds stuck on them. Okay, so because I really have not much space on seedling heat mats or under lights right now, this is how I'm germinating a lot of my summer warm season stuff. And then I will just separate all these little seedlings out into plug trays. So I have a lot of stuff going on here. I have stock and straw flowers and let's see. There's Rudbeckia in here, Scabiosa, straw flowers. I might have already said that. So there's a lot happening in these. All right, so on this one I have Xeranthemum. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Paper daisies, basically. Orlea, jewels of Opar, baby's breath, and the annual baby's breath. Lots of Gomphrena, Celosia, Atriplex, more eucalyptus. It's not germinating yet. Dianthus Amazon series, and flamingo feather. My flamingo feather Celosia is not germinating. So as usual, I have a lot of old seed and new seed. So I'm trying to use up those seeds so I can start fresh next year. But these will either be pinched out into plug trays if there's a lot of germination, like some of these don't have any, or like the Sweet Annie there in the front. Those are so small, they can stay in there for a long time. So just depending on what they look like, the Gomphrena will probably get done soon. And what are these? The paper daisies, those will get done soon. For all of these little pots that I just showed you, I did go back and find all the seed packets that I used. There is a chance that I'm missing some because if I did not use the full packet, I put the packet back into storage already. As you can see, I am just really trying to use up my seed packets so I can get fresh ones each year. I know you can store your seeds from year to year, but I personally just don't like doing that. I always worry about the germination a little bit, the balance between storing them in a cool, dark place versus humidity, such as a refrigerator. So I also love shopping for seeds. That is something I look forward to each year. And some of these packets are super old. And I feel like I've been trying to get rid of old seeds for years. So there's two things that I can do. And is to use up the seeds as much as I can within a year or two, and also buy smaller quantities, which it's so hard to buy small quantities of seeds, especially at suppliers like Johnny's. You get rewarded in price by buying the bigger bulk packets. And so it's hard for me not to pay just a couple dollars more for double the amount of seed, but then I'm left with really old seed because I can't use it all and I don't want to waste it and that kind of thing. So it's like, do I want to waste seeds or do I want to waste money? Should probably be, I don't know if it's wasting money, but you're getting less of a deal on price per seed. But if your germination rates go down because the seeds are old, you're not really saving that much money. So I think I am going to try to improve the quantities that I buy and then use them within a season or two, just so I don't have this problem anymore. Jewels of Opar. All the Gumfrinas I have next. This is a sunset mix. QIS cream. Carmine. More carmine. And carmine again. I love this color. But you can see this seed packet is from 2021. So we just need to use these up. I should say that I am in a unique position with the new farm that I'm going to have perennial beds and things that aren't established. So I'll have more room for annuals than I will in the future because I will plant these annuals in the perennial beds until those plants get big and established. And that will help me control weeds if I can just have something useful that I can cut in the Gumfrina and Celosia and stuff like that, I can dry. So this season, I am going to have way more annuals than I will in the future. Okay, continuing with Gumfrina, I have Strawberry Fields Mix, QIS Rose, and QIS Salmon. I've planted Silene Blushing Lanterns, and this is a second packet of that. For stock, I have two varieties, Iron Pastel Mix and Cat's Formula Mix. Rudbeckia, I have Cherokee Sunset, Denver Daisy, Goldilocks, and Sahara. You will notice that I did not do Prairie Sun. Prairie Sun was one of my favorites, but it just got destroyed by bugs in my previous garden, and it was also really short compared to the rest of them, probably because they were under such severe pest pressure. So I didn't bother planting that this year. I have White Finch Orlea. This is Atriplex or Orach, and this one is Red Plume. And I also have Ruby Gold. I thought I had a third one, so maybe I put that packet away already. I also have Artemisia or Sweet Annie. I have Amazon Rose Magic Dianthus. For Ageratum, I did the Timeless Mix. Celosia, Texas Plume Summer, and Rainbow Mix there. Texas Plume Vintage Rose. I know I also did Flamingo Feather, so I must have saved that packet. Crespedia. Silver Drop Eucalyptus. This is a baby's breath that is pink, and then I also had one that is deep rose. I don't see the packet for that, but I had two of those. These are all the Scabiosa. I have that Fata Morgana. It's a white cream, white one, very pretty. Black Knight. Triple Berry Mix. Snow Maiden. Yeah, this packet's from 2022, pretty old. Okay, Xeranthemum or Paper Daisies. I have a few of those. This one is just a double mix. This one, Immortelle, I think it's just white. We'll see. I'll put pictures of these up on the screens. Okay. And this one doesn't really give much specific. It just says annum, Xeranthemum annum from Floret. I grew this last year. It's white. Okay, for straw flower, I have king size orange. And a little tip about straw flower, I've read that having fresh seed for this is really important for germination. So we're getting rid of all these packets. I have apricot mix and apricot mix again. This is apricot peach mix, king size raspberry rose, seashells mix, vintage white. Look at the date on this one, 11/20/21. That probably won't germinate. Here's more king size orange. I ripped the packets off like this at the bottom if I see a seed stuck in the corner and I can't get it out. But then I also, for straw flower, I actually have one plug tray of that coming from Farmer Bailey. I had ordered some other plug trays and I needed to pick something to fill up the box. Well, I didn't need to, but it makes more sense to have enough plug trays to fit in the box. So I'm going to have Silvery Rose plugs from Farmer Bailey. Oh, here's another Gomphrena, QIS formula mix Gomphrena. And this one germinated so good. I should show you that one. Oh, here's the deep rose gypsophila, or baby's breath. So I knew I had that one. Let me show you that Gomphrena. This is the QIS formula mix on the Gomphrena. Look how much of that germinated. It's full. There's so many babies in there. So that's really exciting. Okay, now back to the video. Okay, in this tiny little tray, I have more eucalyptus that I'm trying to germinate. You can see up here at the top, there's some that have germinated. This side is the silver plate, and this side is the heart-shaped leaf ones. So it's kind of hard to get eucalyptus to germinate properly, and I'm just kind of using really small containers that I can find because I just don't have a lot of space in here. So there's some stuff in there. This is a dahlia that I saved from the other property before we came over. It's Cozy Town Baby Cakes. It looks okay. Unfortunately, Scully dumped this one completely out, so I had to replant it. It does not look as good as it did, but I'm hoping to baby it along until it can get planted out into the garden. Okay, in here are two more of my absolute favorite dahlias that I saved from the other property. I don't know if you can see, I'll put a picture of it up on the screen, but this side, there's a tiny little sprout right here. This is Bracken Rose. And on this side, again, there is the tiniest little sprout right there. And that one is also Skipley Lois Jean. So another few of my favorites. The amount of dahlias that I have planned for the new garden is insane. It's crazy, and I can't wait to share all the varieties with you, but I will do that in a separate video. So I mentioned that I'm going to be potting up all of my summer seedlings into seed trays. These are 128 cell trays. I have 10 of them. They are from Bootstrap Farmer. You can see on there. Maybe you can read it. I want to do soil blocks so bad, but making soil blocks in the apartment or on the porch is just, it's not going well. I don't really have all the bins of different ingredients that I like to use, and I tried doing some with just potting soil, and they came out okay, but not as nice as I would have liked. I really like Lisa Mason Ziegler's recipe, which is someone really famous in the vegetable world that made that. I'll put it up on the screen. I can't think of his name. But she uses his recipe, and so I just couldn't get my soil blocks to work how I wanted to, so I'm just going to have to save that for another year. I did soil blocks last year and really liked it, but it's not working out for me, so I'm going to be using 128 trays this year. I would use these for my sunflowers anyways. I don't direct seed my sunflowers, which is also a little odd, but this helps me keep successions going very quickly. And I also spent the extra $30 to get this popper that is made exactly for these. So you stick the plug tray on the popper and it pops all the plugs out. So it's really easy and quick to get them out. So I'm excited to have this. So hopefully next year I can get back to soil blocking, but for now, we're going to be using those trays. Okay, and here is a look at the porch. These are my perennial shrubs that I saved from the previous apartment. These are chrysanthemums over there, and I have some Fraser firs in the back. These are boxwood. I forget what these are called. I've got some hypericum, and I also have my grandmother's peonies. Look, you can see the peony coming back up, so they survived. These are the peonies that I transplanted from my grandmother's house after she passed away in Ohio to North Carolina. They did not like it last year, but this year I'm gonna put them in the new garden. I'm so happy to see that. These are some snapdragons. I have winterberries, more winterberry, more boxwood. These are privet, a non-invasive privet called Kindly. This is Scully's favorite spot in the apartment right here. She looks out on the porch. This is what I have left of the tulips that I planted in the crate. I have to be honest, I don't water these. I forget about watering this a lot, but the last variety I have in here is Copper Image. They're not doing well because they're very thirsty, so that's my fault. These are dahlias that I saved. The variety is called David Digweed. It's an orange dahlia. I love it just because of the name, and I will forever try to have it in my garden. And then here's all the seedlings you just saw. This is where I've been keeping them out here on the porch, enjoying the natural weather. All right, that is all I have for you today. That was just a quick little update of all the seedlings. So if everyone could just send a thought to the seedlings so they survive until they can be planted out in the garden, that would be great. I'm hoping it's not more than 6 weeks, but I'm really not sure at this point. So follow along, and I'll see you next time. Bye.